In this next tutorial, I want to talk briefly about the math object in JavaScript. This is how you get your square roots, your powers, and so on. There's a great reference that you can go to, javascriptkit.com, jsref/math.shtml. There are other references, in fact, references to this abound. I've just found that this is one of the nicest places on the web in terms of having tutorials and ways of finding the information you need. They generally give examples of virtually everything. I'd like to go through some of these and give you an idea of what it all means. So, first of all, the math object has some properties. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-K, and let's move this up a little bit. So, for example, over here you see a property, capital E. You probably have no idea what that means, so let me do that for you. Math.E, that gives you the number, the exponential. If, for example, you want to do math.ln2, that gives you the natural log of 2. Math.ln10, this is case sensitive, by the way, natural log of 10, and so on. Let's do one more, math.pi, that gives you pi. It's all floating point precision. So this is what those properties mean. So these are the ones that are currently defined by the JavaScript 1.5 standard. For methods, methods are pretty straightforward. So for example, let's say I have a is equal to -5, math.abs a would give us 5. That's the absolute value. Now, these guys, a cosine, a sine, a tan, these are the inverse inverse trigonometric functions. A lot of folks aren't familiar with this. This is old notation. Most people are used to seeing, for example, cosine to the -1 to represent inverse. That seems to be the modern way of doing it. However, programming has held on to this because it's hard to write a -1 without having it interpreted as an operation. So, for example, if I had b equals 0, a cos, oops, let's put the math there, math.a cos b, you say 1.57, well, it's going to return the results in radians rather than degrees. So if I want to actually get that in degrees, I have to multiply by 180 and then divide by pi. So that gives me 90 degrees. Let's say that I want to find sine. Notice I was hitting the up arrow and the down arrow to get to different, oops, and of course I undid that, but that's up and down arrow. So here, 0. So this gives you an idea of exactly how these functions are used. So if you need something in degrees, you should generally do this conversion. In the same way, if we go down a little bit, here are the sine, cosine, tangent. If I do, for example, math sine of 90, well, if this function took degrees, I would expect the answer to be 1. But, of course, it doesn't. It thinks that's radians. So to convert to radians, I have to change the argument of sine. So I have to convert that argument into radians. So I do, to convert from degrees to radians, you multiply by pi over 180. And now I get what I expect. There are some other things here like random and so on. We don't have to get into that. Let's see, is there anything else I want to add in here? No, I think that'll do for now, but you can go to this page and you can find all kinds of interesting information about the math object in JavaScript.